On Weekly, hosted by your boy, Irving Legend, and your girl,
Allie.
Allie.
More like owie.
Oh,
I got stung by
nice.
a bee.
Oh, yeah, she did. Hey, you on your ear.
Yeah, you can't see it though because it's over here.
Yeah, it's too graphic, apparently.
Too graphic. Demonetized. Banned from YouTube.
Welcome back, everybody, to Power On Weekly for the week of September 14th through the 20th. And we've got a lot of things to kind of cover this episode. We're going to talk about the PlayStation event, and we're also going to talk about The Sims. Super random for us to talk about it, but Allie's got to get some stuff off her chest.
But I want to.
Yeah, and this is our show, and we can do whatever we want.
We're in charge here.
Yep. So let us start by saying finally, PlayStation has finally had their PlayStation Showcase event where they not only announced the price of the console, but they also showed a lot of first-party games that are coming as well. This event took place on September 16th, so week after Xbox announced all their stuff, and I'm just gonna say it. I think this is a great show. This is a great showcase. Yeah. They showed a lot of great stuff, and we'll get to the price in just a bit. But I mean, I think for Sony, this is as best as, and not saying like this is the best they got, but this is as good as they could have asked for, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So to start off the show, they talked about they showed Final Fantasy 16, which was very like recently rumored, like leading up to the show. And a lot of people really didn't believe that this was going to be a thing, but Final Fantasy 16 was shown off. It looked great. It was running on PC, by the way, and it looked amazing. The combat looks so good, and I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan, but this looked pretty cool. What did you think about it when you were watching it?
I didn't even think it was a Final Fantasy game until I saw Chocobo, so I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, yeah. Like, again, I'm also not someone who is a big Final Fantasy fan, but I have played a few. I've never finished any of them, but I did play 7, 9. No, I played 8, 9, 10, 10 2. So like, I don't know that I like how it looked, but it was like, I'm just so used to like the really colorful outfits and atmosphere, but it looks different. It looks definitely going back for more of those fantasy vibes in the name. I think.
Yeah, that's
not even. It didn't. I think maybe it isn't fantasy though. It's just more medieval.
Yeah, it's more medieval. I think that I said that to you. I was like, they're going back to fantasy medieval kind of thing, because like the most recent ones really like were more kind of futuristic and like they had fantasy elements on it, but it was like definitely like, I mean, the last one you drove a flying car around. So this looks super cool. One thing I am excited about this is that it's also coming to PC. Not that my PC could probably handle it because it looked beautiful, but that's still really cool. Speaking of another beautiful showcase, that immediately after this, everything they showed after this was in-engine PlayStation 5. And Spider-Man Miles Morales was shown, and that was incredible. Even them just walking through the street and everything like that, like, oh my gosh, that looks stunning. And later on, I saw like a tweet that somebody took of like a screen cap of it. And they like zoomed in on Miles's hair, and it's all like curly and like really like they like the attention to the detail to his hair, because he's half like, you know, Dominican and half black. Like it's not just like normal whatever hair they threw on there. It's like the little curl, and it was like the attention to the detail is so good.
Well, the fact you could get that much detail from a screen cap of a video shows how much probably detail will actually be in the game itself.
Yeah, they showed off some gameplay as well, and man, it looks so cool. I think you know, I've said this before on the show, and I've said it to you, but I think Miles Morales is a better Spider-Man than Peter Parker, and shows with how cool those moves that he did were. He was just like electrocuting people, going invisible, and all that stuff. I was blown away, and I am now kind of sad that we're not getting a PlayStation 5 just because of how incredible it is. One thing I will say though, this game is also coming to PlayStation 4, which I think Sony needs to kind of apologize for being so like, we're leaving the college generation and like giving, you know, Xbox such a hard time, because not only this game, but Horizon 2 is also coming to PlayStation 4. So this whole like, we're moving on to next generation and like get over it, kind of not get over it, you know, that kind of mentality is kind of, they're kind of backpedaling on it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it's kind of gross in my opinion, but
like, yeah, they decided not to just go full force into the next gen. I wonder though, it feels like they would have had to have known when they made that initial announcement, because it's not been a long time. It's not like they're like, oh, we changed our mind. Can you guys quickly develop a game for the PlayStation 4?
Mhm.
I wonder if that was just like a tactic, or if there's miscommunication somewhere in the company.
Yeah, I think
That's a huge miscommunication.
that
though.
is something that the people have been saying. Like, that's not just a Switch that you're just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're
Yeah.
also making this. What people think is like these games were already being developed for PlayStation 4, and like sometime in their development, they're just like, okay, yeah, we're also doing this for PlayStation 5. But for them to really hit home that it's like, look at these exclusives you can only get here on PlayStation 5, and kind of sell that idea out the get-go, because they didn't announce this until like pretty much like after the whole pre-order debacle, which we'll get to. So it's kind of grimy in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, what did you think about I've been raving about the Spider-Man gameplay, but I want to know your opinion.
Well, I mean, they did the classic, like, he has to like pull something together with the spider webs. Is that just like a staple now?
I guess so, yeah.
Just like a staple in every game and movie.
Yeah, ever since Tobey Maguire did it with the subway thing. Yeah, I mean, you got Tom Holland doing it. You also got it in, I mean, the Spider-Man movie, the Into the Spider-Verse as well. They did, yeah.
Yeah, it's got the staple, so I'm sold.
Nice. That's it. That's all you need for Alex.
All I need.
If Spider-Man can just hold two things together from going apart with
two impossible things together, with a spider powie, Spidey powers, spider powies.
then you solved Allie. Now, I don't know if you're sold on this one, but Hogwarts Legacy. Now, this game has been long rumored. We've known about this game for a long time, and they finally announced it. And this is basically in the world of Hogwarts, the Harry Potter universe, but it's taking place in the 1800s, like way before the books and stuff. And you make your own wizard or witch, and you can basically live the Hogwarts life. I think it's like an MMORPG kind of a thing, but it's interesting. They did make a statement, because everyone knows where how divisive the fan base is now because of J.K. Rowling's antics that she's been going on about. They did say that she is not directly involved with this project, but just they're just doing a thing in the world that she created. So basically, she's still getting money.
Yeah, it's like you can't. They're obviously trying to like tone down the drama in hopes that this doesn't affect sales. Mm-hmm. But it's her world. She's getting a licensing fee no matter what. Some people are like, oh, well, she got paid before, so just like support the developers. And I do get that whole mentality. But I'm pretty sure that that's not how licensing works. Like, she'll probably get a royalty of some sort or something from these sales. But I mean, I've never been a Harry Potter head. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it was overhyped. I read the first book when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect me that people are boycotting this. I don't really care. Like, but I'm just like knowing, like it goes into just knowing the fandom. Like, it's gonna be really interesting to see who sticks to their guns of boycotting her and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Because it's always one of those things, right? You're like, oh well that was mean, and forget her. Oh, shiny thing. Like that's how, and it's hard, but that's how fandoms are, and that's how people act when it's something that they love so much. It's like you're devastated, but you're also like, but I love it so much, so I'll get over it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I did see a tweet of somebody like saying that exact thing, where it was like, I'm a hardcore fan, and if this was like a couple years earlier before all this happened, like I would have been 100% on board, but strictly because of my morals and because of the way that everything is gone, regardless if she's not 100% a part of it, they're like, I'm just flat out not buying it, and sorry, not sorry. Like, well,
and it's funny because we kind of talked about something similar to this earlier today about the morals and everything, and it's like I'm very moralistic. Is that a word?
I don't know. Sure,
I'm making it a word. But so like.
You stand by your morals, basically.
Yeah, I tend to stand by what I believe in, but I've also not been put in a position that something I love or support has gone and turned its back on me. Like, everything that like comes up that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go there. Like, are places I've not been to already, so it doesn't hurt me or affect me in any way. Yeah. Or like a fandom that I was never a big part of. Like, I'm like, okay, like Harry Potter, that freaking sucks. It's a huge fandom, but it doesn't affect me. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I like to believe that I would like
stand by it.
That I would stand by it and be like, oh, like, well, I really love Harry Potter, but I don't know. I can't say anything, so like I can't really. Yeah. That's a hard position to be in.
No, for sure. We're gonna power through a bunch of these games because they're just like, you know, I mean, Black Ops.
We're not really here to talk about the games that much. TBD,
Yeah, no.
Or to be honest,
no, really, yeah. We'll get to the meat and potatoes of it. But Black Ops was shown off, which I mean, it just did Black Ops things, and they paid homage to Fast and Furious, the scene with the airplane.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The never-ending runway. Something that I'm super excited about. Sorry. Resident Evil Village, they showed another trailer. It wasn't gameplay, so I am a little sad. And but it looked great. What we did see looked amazing. And then like at the end, you get a little tease of because this is very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. So you always think about the merchant, right? The what are you buying? That merchant. Oh,
the flasher.
Yeah. And we got this rendition of the merchant here. Very different than what I expected. But I don't know if you picked up on it, but what he said, said like blah blah blah, like something like I don't know. Anyways, but that we got our look at the merchant for this one since it's very Resident Evil 4-ish.
Yeah.
Oddworld. Oddworld. Not really a big fan since the beginning, so can't really.
Looks odd.
Does look odd. So, something else that was very odd and I did not expect was another FNAF game.
Did you not? You haven't heard the rumors that they're about this one being made?
No, I heard the rumors. I mean, we watched like Matt Pat's thing on it.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, he kind of said something about it.
You just didn't expect there to be a trailer. I didn't either for a PlayStation event.
Exactly. That's that's what I'm like more like surprised about.
Yeah, like the place they dropped it.
Yeah, it looked. I don't know if that was actual like gameplay or settings for the game, but like, man, it looks shiny, like super nice, like really pretty. But I mean, FNAF has gone. It's been a weird cycle with that like cult following, and then everyone hates it, and so it's now in a really weird spot.
I feel like it's one of those that just got dragged out too much. Like, all right, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, move on.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. Like, and I liked it.
Yeah.
But
I think I like the mystery of the story.
Yeah.
And now that the story has gotten so convoluted to the point where you have to like read the books and know every game and know like you have to watch the game theorists basically.
You have to be in it.
They're working together. Matt, Pat, and Scott.
We figured it out, Matt. Pat. We have our own theory now.
That's the ultimate game
theory.
That's
just a game theory. Is that trademarked? Is that copyrighted? Oh. Sorry, getting demonetized.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Deathloop, they finally showed some gameplay. I mean, they've showed gameplay of it before, but this was a pretty extensive one. Really interesting on how the concept of it works, where he's in an endless loop, and if he does one thing in one like loop, it might affect the other loop, and then he has to kill 8 targets, and if he messes one up, he can kill 2 birds with one stone. But he never, it's very interesting. It's very arcane studio. They did Dishonored. Like the powers are straight up from it. Like the only thing that's kind of weird about it is just like the character models are just kind of like very stiff, like zero animation. But this game also did get pushed back until 2021, so they have time to like polish that. But
there's something about it that I don't know. Like I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but it's something is like I'm like drawn to it in like an unexplainable way.
Yeah.
And I know someone else like we watched after the thing said kind of the same thing where it's like I don't know why, but I'm really interested in this game. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think it just has to do like just aesthetic and like kind of the whole. It's kind of got like a throwback of like, I know it's not a spy game, but kind of very like noir spy assassin. I don't know, and it's like again, it goes into like it's a concept that's been done, the whole looping time things and even the aesthetic, but. I don't know, like something about it. Every time like it comes on, I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I dig it.
I'm on board. I don't know why, but
now this is a PlayStation exclusive. It's also coming to PC, and there's been also talks that this game is only a timed exclusive, so we might get it on Xbox in a year or something like that, similar to how like the Tomb Raider franchise was for Xbox.
That'd be cool. Again, it's not so sold that I would go out and buy a PlayStation for it, but like it's just something I would be interested in keeping an eye on.
Yeah. Speaking of going out and buying a PlayStation 4, Demon Souls.
Demon.
It was shown off. And I told you from the beginning, when we were watching this, is like, if this is actual gameplay, this is insane. Like, that looked so good. Like, so smooth, so beautiful. Like, I've never played Demon Souls, but I've played, Dark Souls 1, a little bit of 2, and I beat Dark Souls 3. I love the Soul series, and I would love to be able to just play this. But again, it's only a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now, they did mess up, and they said it's coming to PC as well. And then, like, a couple days later, they're like, oh, human error. That actually isn't a thing. It's only PlayStation 5.
Oop.
That sucks.
Messed up.
Yeah, it is.
That's how they get you.
Yeah,
because you're like, I'm gonna spend money on that, and they're like, no, you have to spend money on a PlayStation. And you're like, well, I was already sold.
Yeah, I know. It looks great. I'm really excited for it, and I'm glad that because Demon Souls was a PlayStation exclusive from anyway, so it doesn't
always has been.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
And Bloodborne 2, right?
Bloodborne 2 as well, yeah. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's still disappointing for me. But who knows? If we ever get a PlayStation, then I have something to look forward to playing. Not like any of these aren't anything to look forward to, but yeah. DMC5 got a special edition where you get to play as Virgil, I think. DMC, I wish I was good at that game because it's so cool to watch. And then at the very end, we did. Oh, sorry, I missed one game. The most important game of the thing. Fortnite is coming to PlayStation 5, everybody.
I was worried.
You were worried.
I was worried because it's not even on Apple anymore. So they probably had to make sure that you knew, like, don't worry, we haven't fucked up this relationship.
I can't believe that was in
like it was some big shock like or worth anything.
If we already didn't know that this was coming to play the next generation consoles in general.
Ooh.
Anyways, the last thing that was teased and something again that we already knew that was happening was,
we could have broke this first if we wanted to.
Yeah, which
I mean, it probably was really obvious that they were going to make another one of these, but we had inside sources.
We do. And I'm actually going to talk about it. God of War Ragnarok was teased at the end, 2021.
Here's my only thing is people are like, oh my God, like they're so hyped. And it's like, yeah, that game did so good. Did you guys really is it like people are acting like blown away that there's a new one and oh my God, and it's like, and all it was like a little like it was really anticlimactic, like, oh cool, yeah, okay, there's the confirmation, like
yeah, it was just like confirmed,
like people are like losing their minds, like yeah, okay, like yeah, like they're not gonna make another God of War. That was game of the year.
I mean, for us, it's like because we follow it so closely that like obviously we knew not beyond like our source or whatever, but like beyond that, like I think because we do follow it so closely, but like to the masses, it's also like, oh sweet, it is happening.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just that confirmation.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, even like professionals like like GameSpot and like what's it called, IGN and all that. They're also like, oh my, it's like okay, I guess. Anyways, God of War Ragnarok is 2021. I think it came out the original came out in 2017. So, and we already knew the Santa Monica Studios, and as soon as that was done, they're like, we're working on the second one. Like,
yeah, and they have been working on it, which is why the 2021 is not a shock at all.
Yeah,
because we know from our source that they've been working on it.
They've
for a while.
More importantly, they've been.
We sound so cool.
They've been mocapping it.
Yeah,
there was basically a mocap thing that happened, and we know some interesting plot details about just by that person saying what they're doing. So we won't spoil that, and we won't say who it was or whatever, but we know. Trust us, okay? Like we have when it comes out, and you're like, oh my God, that's the thing. We're like, we knew about that,
and no one's gonna believe us.
Yeah, no one's gonna believe us. And last but not least, they announced the price and the release date of the PlayStation 5,
which everyone probably already knows.
Yeah, everyone already knows what it is. Now, I do want to say though that we personally talked about it like right before, and I think I just gotta say I got the price right. I didn't get the release date at all, but I did get the price. I was off for one day from the release date, or one of the release dates. But digital version $399, the normal disc version $499. Pretty much what we expected.
I was surprised by the whole $100 difference.
Oh yeah, because you thought they were.
I really figured it would be about $50.
Yeah, I figured they were gonna go with this price because $499 or $399 is $499 is a weird number. Like you don't really see consoles like that unless they're going on sale. And the other thing is they have to differentiate these enough to make it worthwhile. But we know that the $399, like they're losing money if they're doing that, right? They're losing the $50 that they're eating up because they're not, because of the disk drive and everything. But yeah, $399, $499. I think those are fair prices. I think that's pretty much what we all expected, like I said. And then also, like we talked about last time, Xbox released at $599 when their original, this giant thing. So I think that's just the norm of new generation consoles. November 12th. I said the 13th, so I was off by a day, but 12th is coming for Australia, US, Mexico, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea. Everywhere else, you guys get it on November 19th. So sorry, everybody in the UK, Canada, Mexico, and everywhere else in the
No,
world.
Mexico has the 12th too.
Oh, they do? Oh, yeah.
You
they
have
do.
it
Just
on your
kidding.
list.
Oh, yeah, I do have it on the list. Sorry, Russia. Mother Russia. You'll have to. Oh, one thing I did see. No release date has officially been announced for China.
Well, doesn't that count for everywhere else?
No.
Oh.
They said excluding China, basically. They haven't determined a date. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. So yeah, we'll talk about the pre-orders in a bit. I do want to mention one thing with this. Right before they announced like the date or the dates and the price, they announced a PlayStation Collection for PlayStation Plus members. Which is essentially Game Pass, but only for PlayStation 4 games. So you get games like, first party games that are like, top hitters, like on the Uncharted series, Uncharted 4, Infamous Second Sons, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Last of Us 1, no 2, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Bloodborne. They also have a bunch of third party games like Monster Hunter World, the Arkham games, or Arkham Knight specifically, Fallout 4, Mortal Kombat X. Most of these, if not all of these third-party games, besides Bloodborne, are also on Game Pass as well. So it's interesting that these specific games are like, yeah, you two guys, here you go. Like, use our stuff and use it in your collection, because in the PlayStation Collection, basically, as long as you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can have access to these games when you play them on PlayStation, I think 4 or 5. Don't know, regardless. But the only thing that's different about this with Game Pass is that first-party PS5 games are not included in this collection, and they actually said that they're like, yeah, we don't want to do that. We'd basically lose a lot of money, and they kind of shit on Game Pass like in general. Like if they're like, if we did that, like we're like, no, it's not worth it or whatever.
Well, I mean, that just shows again the difference in ideas. Like I'm sure Microsoft is losing money, but Microsoft also doesn't have all its eggs in one basket, so...
Well, they did with Halo, but besides that...
Well, no, I mean, though, like, the gaming industry versus, like, their other industries. Those are the computing and, like, software. The Azure, and those subscriptions are carrying them as a company.
Yeah.
Like...
Consoles are just, like gaming is just, like, a plus, kind of, almost.
Yeah. I mean, it's... If they lose money there, they're making money elsewhere. So that's why they're willing to take that hit.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure. I do find it really interesting that they did that. And, oh man, how quickly the fan base has turned as far as like, collection of gamings and like subscription to games, the Netflix of games, like you see the fan base being super toxic about Game Pass in general. And then this gets announced, and not saying like every single one like flipped around, but like it's just kind of weird to see like that kind of flip, or like a cry for like, yeah, that's great, that sounds awesome, Yeah. But something else that was also announced, and I haven't put it on here, is that like, which is news apparently, that the PlayStation 5 isn't backwards compatible with PlayStation 1, 2, or 3 games. Like
it hasn't been backwards compatible since the first PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Like, even in the PlayStation 3 generation, they stopped backwards compatibility. My grandpa got the PlayStation 3 on launch, and then a few years later, when I was thinking about moving PlayStation 3 or Xbox, they weren't making consoles with backwards compatibility anymore. So that's why I went to Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, so like, I know, I'm like, how is this a shock? And haven't they said previously that they're going to make a backwards compatibility to the top 100 games, and that's it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to play every single game that you've had. Like, it. Yeah, how is this news though?
I don't
they've
know.
Talked about it before.
They have,
and it's in their history. If you are a PlayStation person, you should know that this is with the territory.
I found this very confusing because I'm like, man, do we know the insights more? Like,
we got a guy still. We got guys.
We got a guy. Yeah. Because like even like friends that I have on Facebook were like posting these like articles that like IGN and other people were writing, and they're like, oh man, that's a deal breaker for me. It's like, how did you not know that was like,
how is that not a deal breaker for the PlayStation? See, that's the thing, is like the PlayStation 4, they said they were going to do backwards compatibility and never did. So like, Even if they said they were going to do backwards compatibility, how could you trust them?
Yeah,
unless it was at launch.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why like that would even be like a.
It's odd, but
it is.
It's really odd, but especially whenever I don't know why people thought that was like a thing, but they did say that 99.9% of like the most recent like PlayStation 4 games will be compatible with the PlayStation 5. I mean, we already knew since like June that they put like a cutoff where like any new game that was submitted to PlayStation 4 had to be able to be played on PlayStation 5. So, yeah, they've had this set in for a while. So, yeah, that's the thing. Now, let us talk about the cluster beep that was
cluster beep.
Yeah, that was the pre-order situation. As soon as the presentation was done, they a couple minutes later they did tweet out saying that the pre-orders would start the next day, the following day, the 17th.
I retweeted that within like the first minute.
Yes, you did, yeah. But midway through the day, it just went to chaos. It just went to beep again. Okay. Walmart was one of the first to post their pre-orders online. A UK retailer then did the same, and then pretty much everybody else followed suit. And within hours, they were sold out. Okay. Completely sold out. People were angry, pissed that they couldn't get these things and all that stuff. But more importantly, the people that were more hurt by this were, that whole campaign that we talked about, where PlayStation was going to send out an email saying, be one of the first to what's it called? And it's based off of your history and all this other stuff and interest in PlayStation. They never got that email until later that night. And even then, they couldn't pre-order until the 18th. Yeah.
What?
In the email, it said that. So
when were pre-orders for everyone else?
The 17th.
So Sony pre-orders.
Ooh, I have no idea. This was so bizarre.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I missed that detail.
I saw somebody's like email saying that basically. I think it was Greg Miller. I might be wrong, but I swear it said the 18th. But
okay.
Regardless, it was a mess.
Regardless, you would think that they were going to take those pre-orders for a day or two before even releasing to the general public, even with retailers. And who messed up on that? Like, you can't be necessarily mad at Sony because they have no control over the retailers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds to me like one retailer messed up, maybe had it scheduled wrong or in a wrong time zone or something, and then everyone else was like, oh, okay, well, they're sold out. Go. Like, just let them go. Like, if they're going to mess up, like, if they're going to release them early, let's get our sales on. And that sucks more for the fans because but that does come back on Sony. You as the company said they're going to be here. They're going to be released tomorrow. So you have a bunch of people who were like, cool, I don't have to watch anything. I don't have to worry about anything until this time tomorrow. And those people lost out. Like,
yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, that sucks when you're like, because you're never guaranteed your pre-order, but like, you're like, yeah, like, just imagine, like, you're like just going on about your day, like thinking like, oh, it doesn't even matter because it's tomorrow. And then to find out, nope, they released early, they're sold out. Like, I don't know. That would suck.
That's exactly what happened to like, I'm a part of like the Game Scoop Facebook page, and that's exactly what happened to a guy on there. He said that he's like, I went to go give my son a bath. I came back, heard that they were on. I tried looking everywhere, and now they're sold out. Like, that's shitty. Like what the heck? And it's just more disappointment as like you said, to the fans, because in the email and the whole campaign that they had, it literally said, be one of the first to pre-order. How are you going to have it scheduled for the 18th, but then tell the rest of the world that they can just pre-order what's like normally on the 17th? It's just so bizarre.
The one thing I can see with that is like if PlayStation has their own dedicated batch for those people,
which that
they're like, oh, like you're gonna get your pre-order, but like it's still also it doesn't make it unnerving though. Like, as a fan, to be like, should I try to order one just in case I don't get on that? Like, that's the whole thing with a pre-order.
Yeah.
And with you saying I'm doing this for you as our fan base, is it's like at least those people would be like, okay, well, the Sony official one sold out before I could get it. That's fine. I everything else releases tomorrow. I can try it again on Best Buy or Walmart. Like, you kind of screwed those people out of that opportunity. They either double order potentially or like that. It kind of takes away that opportunity to be like, should I try for this place? But then again, at the same time, like if they missed out on the Best Buy, like now they're like, well, I could try for the Sony one. Like it just seems that like you as the company would. It just seems backwards, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
That's why this whole thing was just so weird. And Sony didn't officially make a statement until 2 days later. They tweeted out by saying, let's be honest, PlayStation 5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We truly apologize for that. Over the next few days, we will release more PlayStation 5 consoles for pre-orders. Retailers will share more details. And more PS5s will be available through the end of the year.
Here's the thing, too. And I know you said this on your Twitter because me and you had a conversation about this. Not to be a jerk, but it's like I'm surprised Sony didn't come in and retaliate to the retailers at all or cancel orders.
Yes. Because
we know of someone else who's had an experience with a pre-order that went awry and a company's gone in and canceled. It was
Matthew with the magic card, like a pack that came out.
So it's not like companies don't have the freedom to do that. And like you would think Sony would at least like do something to be like, this is not cool, this is not okay that all of you retailers did this. You went against, because like think about NDAs and like embargoes and all of that. Like how does this not like hit on one of those? Like I get it, as a company you're probably like, it doesn't matter because we just sold out our stock. No. We're good. But like but then see, I'm so back and forth because then it's also messed up to the people who did get that pre-order. Yeah. Because it's not their fault that the company's releases early and all these other people are missing out because of it, because they're told the wrong information. I don't know. Like you said, the whole thing is it's a cluster. It's messed up no matter what happens. It's messed up if Sony were to cancel those orders. It's messed up that those people didn't get their chance that they thought they were going to get, even though they weren't guaranteed shit. Yeah. It's
messy.
It sucks all around. And this right here is one of the many reasons I don't even go for consoles at launch. It's not worth it. Yeah. I'm not into getting my hopes up. I also am usually, like I said, there's not enough games for me to want to buy them. Like this right here, though, is just like, every time I see this, I'm like, confirmation that I'm just like, I'm good. I'll be patient and I'll wait.
Yeah. On the flip side, Microsoft did, kind of push back, and they tweeted out a tweet saying, oh, blah, 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 and we'll let you know. Like, we'll let you know when they go live. And they did say, like, it's coming out September 22nd. We knew. And then they put out the times for each time zone, so you know which one it is. And there's also kind of inside information that someone tweeted out that said that, like, Microsoft is going to, like, kind of punish, like, retailers if they do what they did last time and they break embargo by basically not giving them any more consoles to sell. Yeah, and then that way you just get it directly from, Microsoft themselves or other companies that maybe like didn't break embargo. So yeah, it's
well, and Microsoft has their own stores, so it's not like it's kind of just like to have it at other retailers on launch really just makes it so that you don't have a big crowd in one place. But yeah, they could easily though be like, well, we have our own Microsoft stores, we'll take the majority of the inventory because you guys screwed up.
Yeah, it was wild. Something else that was pretty wild was that we did find out later on in the week as well that the first party PlayStation games are going to be $70. We've already kind of talked about this, that we kind of see a jump in price a little bit, but like us being fans of Xbox, we haven't really like paid attention to that on their side because all their games are on Game Pass, and we have Game Pass, so it's not really that big of an issue for us. But Ubisoft said every game is going to be $60. They're not changing anything. Who knows what EA is going to do? We already know that, EA did the sports thing, so we know kind of what EA is doing. And PlayStation is doing $70 for the first party games. Does this surprise you? Or, I mean, we've talked about it before.
No, it's Sony. Like, so one thing I think Sony does and they do well is, even though the price differences aren't that big, right? But when you think of Sony, you and that's why I was like, I could see the console coming out at $600. Sony is definitely the luxury version. It's like the like it's they've branded themselves to be, we're always going to be the more expensive option, if that makes sense. And so I'm not surprised that they're the first ones to jump on the $70 games. I'm not surprised that like these games are expensive to make. I am a little surprised that they are doing it right away, just because I know any other company that said, we've talked about it, we were going to do it, but with the state of everything, we're gonna hold off making those price jumps as long as we can.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Sony's just like, no, we're gonna just jump in and just do it. But I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I think because of the dedication of their fan base, they can get away with that kind of, not get away with it, like
not
it's
get
like,
away.
it's like
Yeah, I know.
or anything, but they
can do it, and they know people are gonna just. That's fine.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just. Like I said, like I think people would expect Sony to be the first ones to do it anyways. Like I said, the console has always been a little more expensive than Xbox and everything else. The games have always, they have the exclusivity of those games, so it's not they have no one to compete on that price with. It's a monopoly on that because it's their own exclusive game.
Yeah.
So it's not like I could be like, well, it's fine, I'll just get it used here. Well, I mean, you could get it used, but I can't get it from here, a Steam on sale.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and
like
because
it's in their branding,
and because they are exclusive, it's not like you can say like, I'll just get this game on Xbox, I'll get Demon Souls on Xbox or something. But curious to see how. Well, I don't know, because I was like curious to see how Demon Souls will be on PC, but we already know that that's not real. So one thing I did want to say before we wrap up this conversation is about Xbox. Okay, now, after seeing this presentation and after seeing how great, like the first party games look and how, like, man, they look and run so well, and looking back at the previous generations where the previous generation, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, like I played God of War, and that looked amazing. You see games like Ghost of Tsushima that looked incredible, like beautiful games, Last of Us, and these are all running on current gen consoles. And you just see the attention to the details of Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it looks great. That looks amazing, fantastic. But with Xbox saying that they have the most powerful console, I have yet to see anything close to what I've seen, even in this current generation, on this new system.
They're not doing anything to show it, basically.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, they're not doing anything. They're not showing us any kind of games, and like, not to crap on like the art style or the direction of certain games that are going to be launched on what's it called. But I mean, even like, looking at this now, I'm also kind of like not super angry, but just kind of disappointed in like, yeah, Halo. Are you surprised that people weren't happy about the way that Halo looked? Like, Halo looked, the art direction was cool, but like you gotta really knock it out of the park if you're saying that this is the most powerful console ever. One thing I will say to counteract that is that we always know that, it takes a while for games to kind of like and developers to really take advantage of the power of a system. But right off the gate, if that's what PlayStation 5 Miles Morales is gonna look like, that's crazy. And if you're touting that your console is the most powerful console that is going to ever made, we need to see it. And I'm kind of tired of like waiting for we'll wait and see kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed, and I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Well, let's be honest, that's where Sony again can justify a $70 price tag when no one else is right now. That's why they can be like, look at the detail we're giving you. Look at we want to pay our companies what they deserve for this attention to detail. Like, that's another, like I said, another reason they're able to charge just a little bit more for that one, for the discless console, and like a little bit more for that game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Xbox has got to step it up though. Absolutely. Because you're right. Like, you're saying one thing, but you're not showing anything, and Sony's like, we'll just show you how good it looks.
Yeah, and I think they did do that. I think they did do that very well with Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, and well, only time will tell. Now, I do want to know what you guys think about the showcase that happened. Were you excited, disappointed? What game are you looking forward to the most? What was the most surprising game that you saw? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and are you gonna get a PlayStation 5, either the disc version or the discless? I think eventually we might get the discless version of it. Not at launch, obviously, and but maybe on a Black Friday sale with a bundle of like Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah, this could be the generation we jump in. Like, we talked about it with PlayStation 4. We just never had the extra money, and then by the time we were like, oh, maybe, we were like, nah. Next, like, that's where we always get caught up. Is we're like, next gen is like right around the corner.
Yeah,
but this might be the Is that your toe?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. We're playing footsies. This might be the generation though where like if we have the extra money and there's a good deal, we jump on it because it's looking good and it's early enough in that we won't feel like we're gonna waste money.
Yeah, and I think what really is pushing me is the PlayStation Collection, because one thing that we did always talk about with the PlayStation 4 is we love the exclusives. They look great. We wish we could play them. And the more and more we got to it, especially like the last like year, like we've got like super big hitter games and stuff like that. And then we always knew that the PlayStation 5 was going to come out, but if we get like next year, for an example, Black Friday deal, like maybe a 350 with Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then we get subscribed to PlayStation Collection, we've got a backlog of games that we always wanted to play that now we have access to. So,
well, and like I've said, that's always been my hesitation is I'm like, I don't want to buy the next generation of console and not be able to play the fantastic library games you had previously.
Yeah.
So that is a good thing to have because that is going to be something for people like us who didn't have PlayStation. We're going to be more willing to invest because we know we can revisit all of those games that we've heard so many good things about. So, I mean, the two companies marketing very different, their goals very different, but both working very well in what they're trying to accomplish. And I just got to say it, I'm tired of the freaking console wars because literally at this point, it's a preference.
Yeah.
Do I prefer how they're running their business or what they're doing or what they're doing? Can we end the freaking console war? It's so annoying. I know I'll probably use it as a clickbait at some point again, but it's annoying.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to each, and I think it's
balance out, figure out what you want. What are your opinions though on all that?
Yeah. Let us know.
I can't just shut up. I'm sorry.
All right. Now we're going to talk about something that we kind of touched on a little bit, like back when EA did their showcase and everything, EA Play. And we talked about an expansion that's coming to The Sims, and you were like, oh, don't even get me started. And we moved on very quickly. Now is the time where we're going to get you started, Allie. They announced and they released a Sims expansion pack, or is it's like game pack?
It is a game pack.
Game pack. Sorry, I'm new to.
Well, and yeah, you have to be very specific because there's expansions, games, and stuff packs.
Stuff pack. Yeah, I'm new to the. I'm not really familiar with the Sims like terminology and like their packs and everything. But Journey to Bot 2, which is based off of the Bot 2 in Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, the actual attraction location, everything like that. Where you have the cantina, you have a Millennium Falcon, a bunch of stuff in there. And in the real life one, and you also have it here in the game where you basically can just explore the air Bot 2. You can do missions, explore Bot 2, increase reputation with the Resistance or First Order. You can build your own droid and your own lightsaber, which is pretty cool. It's a big old ad for Galaxy's Edge. Now, I will, before you keep going, I will say that it's very specific to people. If you're a fan of all three, then this is a pretty cool thing.
Then it's perfect.
If you love The Sims, if you love Disneyland, and you love Star Wars, bam, you've got it. But Allie,
how specific of a person do you have to be for that, though?
That's very specific.
So the reason that we didn't just talk about this upon release is I was kind of just trying to feel it out, and because I watch a lot of Sims content on YouTube, and I follow things even though I don't buy anything and I don't play it really anymore. I still follow it a lot.
Yeah.
And when this got announced, it was crickets.
Radio silence.
Like nothing. No one said anything really from like the people I watch. And then it just kind of seemed like the people who I watch only really talked about it when they got it under the EA Game Changers program, which for those who don't know, that's basically their like
insider kind of a thing.
Their insider kind of, you're the first to get to play things like the like their influencer program in a way.
Gotcha.
And like it's just like no one was excited for it. No one like really talked about it at like once it got announced. And like now people are starting to kind of like talk about it a little bit and be like, why is this a thing? Like, and it's not good. And the thing with this is it's not my thing that I want to talk about is not even specifically just like this pack.
Okay.
It's how the Sims is running in general. Like this is just an example of not listening to your your customer
Your
base,
fan base, yeah.
being greedy and just like a money grab.
And the publisher having their hands too
deep into
yeah.
it. So here's my thing, right? You're a fan of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge
Love
fan.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of The Sims.
Mm-hmm.
Would this make you want to play The Sims? Is there anything in here that would draw you, as someone who doesn't play The Sims, into The Sims?
No, because it's just a huge ad for a Galaxy's Edge. Like, it's like, first of all, like I'm gonna say by like the most recent trilogy had its ups and downs. Overall, didn't really sit like too well with me. Pretty lukewarm, no pun intended. But this, and that's kind of the issue with Galaxy's Edge. The real, Bot 2 in general, like at Disneyland, is like, this is so for that one specific generation that is growing up with Star Wars, that you completely forgot about the previous generations.
The reason it's famous.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's like, you're going to Disneyland for your kids, and your kids are going, but like, come on, like, us millennials love this kind of shit. So it didn't grab me, and I wasn't clamoring at you like, babe, you got to get this pack. They got Star Wars stuff in it. Like, let me watch you play it, or like do some speed builds or something like that. Like, no, this is kind of a joke, to be honest. And it's pretty much that ad, and it's also because EA has licensing for it. This is just a cash grab, and I don't even think they're grabbing any cash at this point, because there's other things that people want in The Sims, right? Like, you as someone who watches the Sims content creators and has played it before, there's other things in the game that kind of need to be fixed and addressed, rather than just adding a Star Wars pack into it. So what are some of the things that like people would rather see besides this pack?
They'd rather see anything. I mean, right? If we're being honest, they'd rather see freaking almost anything. Like, the issue with this is exactly that. It's a licensing cash grab. I mean, okay, because like, to be completely transparent, I haven't bought a Sims 4 pack since Cats and Dogs, which is like almost 2 or 3 years. So like, and the reason is because this game is so expensive. I was like, I'm done investing money in it. Yeah. But like I said, I still follow it, so I see what people are complaining about. Because I also didn't play 2 or 3. So like, I have to be very like transparent in the fact that like, these issues I'm going to bring up are not things that I personally have with it, because I didn't play. I played 1, I played 4. So I missed the whole middle section. But like I said, again, I follow the community enough to know what they're comparing to and like what their gripes are. Yeah. A lot of the issues are skin tone representation has been complained about since launch of the game. Apparently people think, well, there are not a lot of black skin tones, and the ones that are there, people constantly say look very purple and ashy. They don't look natural at all. And The Sims has been promising to release new skin tones and fix the skin tone representation for years. And I think that might have even been something they mentioned at the EA thing earlier this year, that they're working on it and they're going to release it, but they still haven't. And what someone commented on and pointed out is aliens have more skin tone representation than black people. Like, there are so many skin tones for aliens in the base game or in the game packs where there are aliens. And it's like, people are like, how fucked up is that? That like what is their idea there? That like, you can't get honest about skin tones if there aren't people. Like, what is, like, that's the joke going around. Yeah. But like, things like that, like, so representation, and then something that they've been promising. And then even just like, what I hear a lot is, like, I remember when the Sims originally got released, it didn't have pools. That's a base game thing. They had to patch in pools, which is obviously everyone knows about killing your Sims in a pool. It's a long-term staple. Like, you have to, it's
tradition.
Yes, it's tradition. You drown them. But like, like things like that. Like, there's a lot of things that they didn't release. Like, so there's been a lot of complaints about like wanting simple things. People who play The Sims want life simulation things. Yeah. The occult, the things like that are really cool, but people want cars. People want maybe more realistic things like running a hotel. They want basic bugs to be fixed. Yeah. Even something as simple as, a lot of people complain about babies. Yeah. Because babies are treated.
Just kidding.
because babies are treated like an object in the game. You have 2 interactions you can do with them. You can pick them up, you can feed them. The cats and dogs expansion, the animals are more lifelike and realistic than a baby. They are more responsibility. You have to do more things with them. You can do more things with them. So there's just
the complete opposite of what it is in reality.
Yes. But so there's just this long list of things that people are like, fix these things first, or focus on these expansion packs that your community wants and continuously talks about.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Wars, no one wanted it. It's such a niche, and I'm not saying no one. There's obviously people out there who are like, I'm a fan of Star Wars and a fan of Sims.
I would agree with you with that, but they literally did a poll. And Star Wars was the last thing that they asked, like, people, like, wanted. Like, it was a list of, like, 20 things. We watched that video.
Yeah.
Right? And they did a poll, and, like, there's a bunch of stuff. And at the very bottom, it said Star Wars. Randomly, by the way, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Is like, well, because here's the thing, is people talked about it when they added Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember they added, like, a Baby Yoda statue into Star Wars? And people were like, I'm pretty sure. And that's why that was on that list. Yeah. I'm guaranteeing you that's why that was on that list. Because rumors started to go around and said, ooh, they're putting in a hint.
Yeah.
They're going to go there.
Yeah, because that was
and no one wants it.
That was really random. You've never seen that kind of, like, crossover in The Sims before, right? Like,
not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And so that's what it comes down to, though, is this just turned into a big, what did I say? Like, so if, just because you can, doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
Like, it's also like it would also be different if people weren't voicing what they wanted. If like The Sims is actually very, very involved with their community. They have a ton of packs that the community has voted on and built. Like, I think the most recent one was they have like a laundry day pack. I know that sounds super random.
Yeah.
But like that was a community voted, community picked pack. So they're also like, so they're very involved with the community, and that's the issue with this is you're involved in them, but EA looks at it and goes, but we have a license. Disney will love this. Disney will pay us a lot of money. Disney will want to keep giving us this license. Like, I'm sure even the people who worked on this didn't. It's not. You can't be mad at the people making the game. It's the higher ups that made this decision.
Yeah, it's looking at the game too, and like the especially when it doesn't really translate well into The Sims too, because it's like most, if not all, the stuff that you can basically put into your home, it's very niche, it's very specific. It's not like you can just like have this crazy looking like couch or, you know, bar stool or whatever and have it fit normally into like a build that you're gonna do, because it's just it's like it's so out of place that you're like, I mean, the only thing I can do is just make the entire place the same thing, right? The same, like a whole Star Wars look. So it's very odd, very bizarre when we were watching it too. So yeah, that's all I have to say for that.
No, and that's a complaint, and that's why a lot of people are like, why I like someone like who doesn't like Star Wars is like, as a Sims player, what justification do I have to buy this if I'm not a Star Wars fan? Because it's not like it's even like, well, okay, at least that universe can be is like the stylization, I can use it elsewhere. Because like the other ones you can compare it to would be like vampires. It's very generic. It is like very like a very like aesthetic. Yeah. Like it's a style. But like you could easily be like, all right, I want to do a Gothic mansion, or okay, like there's at least things in here I can use. This is a very Victorian style. Just because I don't like this very like vampire-y wallpaper doesn't mean I can't use that cool window or that cool couch or all the cracks they have on the wall. Like I can take that from being a vampire's house into a like rundown house for gameplay. Yeah. Like there's ways you can like take these other ones and like still there's still usable things in them. With this pack, there's nothing. It's just so my thing is it's too neat. Is it too niche? Like you have these other occults that are in these games that don't feel out of place, but this just doesn't feel, it just feels so limited.
And it's kind of hard. I know that the reason why you've stopped playing it is because it's kind of hard to keep up with the game too, because of how expensive it is, the packs in general and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I ran the numbers before this just so that everyone can be informed as to how expensive this game actually is. When we started this channel initially, I mean, if you look at the early parts of the channel, I did a lot of speed builds, and it's because I love The Sims. And my passion in The Sims isn't necessarily gameplay so much; it's building. I love to build. So on a sale, I bought like 3 or 4 packs, and I was not even caught up at that point 2 years ago. To date, which let me prefix this by saying you should never buy The Sims full price because it's a ripoff. Even anything. Don't buy anything from The Sims full price because they constantly have sales. Unless you need like day one to play a new expansion pack for some reason, you never buy The Sims full price. They always have sales. But full price right now, The Sims cost $730 for everything. If you wanted everything that they've created in this past 6 years, the game has been being built for about 6 years. So that's $120 of DLC you have to purchase every single year at full price. Again, don't buy it full price. You have no reason to. Yeah. But even if you have that, even if you take that, they're 50% off sales, it's still almost $400 on discount.
That's when you ran those numbers, and we tried to compare this game to other games that might have microtransactions and everything like that, and it's very hard to because they have different levels of like packs and stuff that they can do, and each level of that has a very specific like level of like features that come with it and everything. Some might change the game, some might just add like new hairstyles and like items and stuff. Well, we really couldn't figure out like another game that's comparable to this. Like, I mean, even like MMOs and like Destiny and Call of Duty, yeah, you've got cosmetic stuff and all that stuff, but none of those things really changes the game. The only thing that I can really kind of draw parallels are expansions. So in a way of like, World of Warcraft and like Destiny, you've got expansions as well. But I mean, those games are also, base game is free for those games. And it's almost kind of like a subscription-ish with those expansions. So, and they're not as egregious as that. Like the most expansions are like kind of like $40. So yeah.
Well, and that's right. That's the thing. If there was like maybe one drop every single year, it would make sense. You're like, okay, like $40 to $60 for, but it's not that. They're like this game takes every single style of money grab and runs with it. Like basically your stuff packs are basically like if you were to buy cosmetic shit from like any of these games, and then you have also on top of that the expansion packs. And then you have your gameplay packs, and like they all bring their own value. And then of course, like I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, well, if you don't like it, just don't buy it then. But it's like I said, as like someone who likes to build, I would like to have everything at my disposal to create whatever I want. Yeah. Like
it's kind of hard to say that if people argue like, then if you don't want it, then just don't buy it, when like half of the game isn't even like we go back to like drawing parallels to like what people have said about like the Sims 3, and they literally basically took Sims 3, they cut it up in a ton of pieces, gave you a very like base version of the game in Sims 4, and then sold you back those features later on.
That is what I hear a lot. And again, I didn't play Sims 3, so I don't know. I don't personally know what all is missing. I have looked into it though, and I've seen like, just like a lot of base things are things that have been sold back. Like toddlers were a base game thing. You have to buy a toddler pack. Yeah. Like hot tubs. There's literally a stuff pack for hot tubs. So you have to buy hot tubs. So like, and it's just hard. I think the issue that I hear in the Sims community a lot is more so that the fact that like, obviously they're a community that are willing to pay it. They've done it for 20 years. Yeah. But like, it's really insulting to have three previous games that set a precedent and a standard, and then come in and be like, all those features that you paid for in one game, you got to buy them in 5. Like, and here's the thing too. So EA was
just their publisher.
Just the publisher. Maxis was the developer. Maxis had full control of everything. And apparently, after Sims 3, EA bought out Maxis, and I think this is where all the issues are coming in. Is you now have a publisher who is heading the development of this, and this all draws parallels to Activision buying up Blizzard, the Activision Bungie deal for Destiny. Like, think about how great these developers were and how amazing the products they produced were before these publishers became their actual bosses. Yeah. And became the dictating factor of, well, that's great and all, but we need more money. Yeah. And it just is, it makes me really sad to see this consistently happening, because this is not the Sims developers' fault. This is EA. I'm totally ruining my chance of ever being an EA game changer, but like, it sucks. It's unfortunate when these companies get bought out and then the greed of money starts to dictate everything. I'm not saying don't charge what your worth is. Yeah. Don't charge for your product. But at the same time, it's just you see the difference. Mm-hmm. It's not like this is the first version of The Sims, so we have nothing to base it off of. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you want to add on to like.
No, yeah, that's like exactly what happened with like Bungie. Like Bungie was well renowned for their Halo franchise. You know, they were under Microsoft, so they did have to play nice with them and, you know, do what they say and stuff like that. But when they went total, you know,
they had their freedoms though to make the game they thought they needed to.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. It wasn't as like bad as when they struck the deal with Activision. And like, we even know when there was like, you know, the stories came out that Activision and Bungie, when they merged and everything, the corporate talk was really gross, and it was really like, oh, Bungie's gonna be our cash cow, and like, you know, blah blah blah, and it was just kind of gross of how they were talking about it. And I mean, we saw it with Destiny 1 of how awful that was, the start of it. At the end of the life cycle for Destiny 1, it was great, and then they just cut it up and they resold it to you, and now we're even like, it's just. It's insane.
The same comparison.
Yeah, so like, I completely understand your feelings on this, and it's completely valid to be able to be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure EA is being real scummy when they bought out Maxis, and that's what they're doing. They're just cutting everything up and reselling it to you
because they know that people will pay for it.
Yeah,
and that's the unfortunate thing.
It is unfortunate.
Well, and that is, it's just like, at what point? Because I kind of is starting to make me mad at the developers, because at what point are one of these developers going to be like, no, I'm going to put my foot down because this is my game and this is my community? And like are they, when you're 3 games in, are you hurting that bad for money that you do need to sell out to the publisher? Like, it's not like you're a new startup. That's where I can see the difference, is if you are a brand new company and you need that money and you get bought out. But like, it just seems like when you're 3 games in, or in Bungie's case, where you have your legacy to show, we created this. Yeah. Like, at what point will these companies kind of be like, I don't want to sell out to this bigger company, because look at what is happening to all these amazing games and developers around you. When are they gonna like it just feels like, okay, this has happened enough that I need these developers to open their eyes and be a little more realistic as to what's going to happen to their game, because it just seems to be a consistent thing now.
You know, these are things that are decided by a small group of people in a director, you know, just a meeting board or boardroom, and that's it at the end of the day. It's like, it's just these small group of people trying to do the best in their interest, what they think it is
for them and their employees.
Yeah, and like, their employees are, you know, hundreds of people that aren't a part of those conversations.
It
and
sucks.
Unfortunately, that's just how it is, you know. And like, maybe there might be a light at the end of the tunnel for a developer like Maxis, because like, if we've seen anything from the whole Destiny Bungie thing, is that Bungie, like, Activision cut ties with them because Activision didn't think they were pulling enough money, even though Forsaken was one of their best expansions that ever sold. And after that time, they're like, we didn't really hit our marks that we wanted. Activision said that. We didn't really hit our marks that we wanted. And then they cut ties like a year later. I'm not saying that like ever since then it's been peachy and everything. The world in Destiny is just perfect. But, you know, after that, now Bungie has their
stress off their shoulders to do what they need to do.
They need to do what they need to do. So like, they're, you know, only time will tell. And this is just a reoccurring like a story of just greed, basically.
It is, and it's super frustrating. And like, to kind of backtrack, I didn't really know how to like, I kind of messed up a way to like make this a fluid conversation.
Yeah.
But like, just with the greed of it, like, what I guess what it comes down to too, though, is just that, again, that like outrageous $730 price tag.
Yeah, it's really egregious.
Yeah, I mean, the price is outrageous. And I just don't feel like there's really any other games that you can compare to that are at this price tag for. I don't want to like say that the people working in this game aren't working hard and don't put out a lot. But if you follow The Sims, you can look at it and go, if you look at the full game, which a lot of people would probably be like, is this really worth $730? Like, if you came out of the gate and were just like, I have this great game, $730. No one would pay for this. This is like a long-term, like, oh, I'm already in the ecosystem. I'm already in the, okay, what's another $50? But anyone coming in and walking into this, $430 is outrageous. No one's going to spend that. No one, I don't think anyone would value this game at that just off the shelf, you know? Yeah. So like, my thing is like, the other thing I don't understand is why they're not making other options to, yes. Or like more accessible ways for new people to come in, because at this point, you're going to have the people who are going to buy 1 or 2, 3 packs that sound interesting to them and that's it. Or you have the only people who are like, who have spent this much money are the people who are diehard, who are there from day one. It's not an accessible game, I guess is what I'm getting at. Or it is, but if you want the full experience, like why wouldn't you offer some sort of subscription or something? I guess that's more what I'm trying to cycle back to. Is this game started out with expansions back in 2000 when that's how you did it. Yeah. And the gaming ecosystem has changed. So when I can sign up for Game Pass for how much a year?
$15 a month.
$15 a month, 100 something a year, and play a countless amount of games. Why wouldn't you start trying to make just some changes? I know EA has their EA Play and their EA Play Pro, and only the base game is available in that. Like, why? I'm not even saying you have to give everything, but why wouldn't you be like, these are our oldest packs. These packs are 6 years old. Let's do the one that are 6 and 5. Like, let's do the first 2 years in the EA plays. Like anything. I think that's the thing is like give new people who want to get into it anything.
Yeah, because I mean, we keep going back to Destiny, but that's actually something that they did after Destiny 2 released. They did Forsaken, and then pretty much after Forsaken, and they were like midway through their season, they were like, by the way, Destiny 2 is free to play now, and the first 3 expansions are free. Like exactly that. And now, like coming into like September 22nd, tomorrow, in a couple days, or when this releases, like for Game Pass members, Destiny 2 up until Shadowkeep, which was last year's expansion, is also available for Game Pass and kind of pretty much almost free if you remember. Like, so it's like, yeah, like it's not something that's out of the ordinary for like a company or a game studio to be like, oh yeah, by the way, like here's some, because that's what gets you hooked, right? You go in and you're like, oh, I play these expansions, I play these things, and like this is what the new thing is, and that's what everyone else is playing right now. I need to jump on that. And again, these are 2 different games. Destiny's an action MMO shooter, and The Sims is a simulation game. So I can see why that may not work as well. But like you said, like when you have so much content that you can literally just give people a taste, like why wouldn't you? And a subscription model sounds like they probably should be doing that anyways.
It's perfect for The Sims. It's perfect. Like, and then here's the thing: you're like, oh, well, it's free to play, and they have in here the expansions are free. I'm not even saying give it for free. I'm saying put it in your pro subscription. That's $100 a year. $100 a year compared to the $120 that people are going to pay every year for DLC. You're not losing a lot. If someone is like, I can have every expansion or a majority of the expansions for $100 a year. For $99 on the pro plan, people might be willing to jump into that. It's a monthly, then you're looking at, oh, okay, I have a monthly fee. I'm getting all the Sims. And I'm not even saying you have to give out the newest expansions. You could leave it where it's like the diehards will want to go and buy that. They'll want to play that. Maybe give it like a 2-year exclusivity where like we don't put it on because don't they already have something like that with their programs? Their new games don't go in these programs.
Yeah, no, EA Play doesn't do that.
So they're already doing that. So like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't. I told you I was going to wrap up. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But like, I don't understand why they wouldn't just make the first 4 years worth of games available in this. It doesn't hurt you at all, because I can tell you the people who haven't bought it are probably not going to really buy it at this point. Like The Sims is a perfect game too for that kind of subscription. A nice company would just do everything on a subscription, maybe $100 a year for Sims. Like, and that's a lot, but it's still less than what you're paying for everything right now. You could still have the option to, I don't want the subscription. I can buy things individually if I only want 1 or 2 packs. It's just the outrageous price. And the thing is, like what I told Irving is, companies, the only, and I know this is not even a game thing, the only thing I can compare this to is like Adobe. So anyone who has used Adobe products for years knows that Adobe used to be a license. You buy the program, $300 to $600 right up front. And because they have evolved with the times, they have realized, okay, like that's really hard for people who are maybe just starting a business, can't afford the expensive programs. They've moved into a subscription service. Every single one of their programs you can buy on a subscription service. You can buy it. You can purchase a subscription for a month and then cancel it. And in the long run, I have spent more on our Photoshop, our Lightroom, and our Premiere than if I would have just purchased them outright. But I'm willing to do that for that flexibility and that freedom, and that monthly payment is so much easier on me. But like a $400, like I think my Lightroom was a $200 program the last time I bought it. I've spent well over $200 over the past few years on it.
Yeah, and then even then, like you would also like you would buy that, and then like a couple years later, they would come out with a new version, or even a year later, to come out with a new version.
You need to upgrade.
They would push out the most like the last 3 iterations of it or something, and kind of push it off to the side and be like, oh, you can't use this anymore. You got to get the new one. So yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. And that's so you're paying for the program to be constantly updated. You're constantly up to date with it. And it just seems like, and I know that they are two different things, like Adobe and The Sims, but in some weird parallels, they're really similar. And it just shows the difference of a company growing with the times and realizing this is probably a better option for, because you can still buy Photoshop. If I didn't want to be paying for the subscription, I could still buy Photoshop. It just is like interesting to see though that like Maxis and EA aren't thinking outside of the box and trying to evolve with this. There are options out there to make this more accessible. Like, why are you making it so difficult for people who want to be a part of this? Like, I feel like in the end, you'd actually probably make just as much or more by offering your product in a different way.
Yeah.
I could go on about this. I'm so sorry. Like, I told everyone, I was like, I only have like 1 or 2 more things to say, and it's been like 5 minutes. But
yeah, this is. I mean, it's so bizarre that we have Sims in here, the Star Wars thing, and I know that
it's
like
greedy.
it hasn't been really well received in general, and then just when you basically put it all on the table and you talk about how their DLCs works, it's just confusing, baffling,
upsetting,
and upsetting.
It is.
So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys fans of The Sims? Do you play The Sims? Do you agree with us? Do you think
would you guys pay $730 to play this?
Or any game in general?
Oh yeah, no, actually that's fair. Your favorite, think about your favorite game.
Yeah.
Would you pay $730 for that?
Yeah. Like, it's funny because you always gave me flack about Destiny, right? And like spending money on the expansions and everything like that. But like, I bought the collector's edition and all that stuff. But it's just kind of baffling to see that this game is even more expensive than Destiny.
And that's why I stopped buying. Like I said, and that's to be completely fair. Remember, like, because I think I started like what 2016. So the game, anyhow, like the game had only been out for like a year and a half at that point. I bought a few packs, and then I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm like, they're just gonna keep pushing these out. And next thing I know, I'm going to be at $300 worth of Sim stuff. Yeah. Like, unless I am a Sims content creator, like, I'm like, I can't justify this. And it was after I gave you a bunch of flack. I bought like $90 worth of Sim stuff. And I played it and I enjoy it. But I was just like,
never again.
Yeah, I'm like, I cannot justify this. There's no reason for me to be spending this amount of money on this game. Like, and yeah, it is unfair because I did give you flack about it, and that and that is part of why I stopped though. And even beyond that, like, I didn't want to spend. I was like, no, I don't want to be spending this on this. So
yeah. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about this conversation. And obviously, sorry about question of the week. We didn't get to again.
I got stung by a bee.
Yeah, Hallie got stung by a bee. She was in pain, real sad. But
I haven't even edited that wedding, so like I haven't done anything. So yeah, I don't know why you thought I was like, I'm done with everything this week.
Yeah,
my week was done when I got stung. I came home and I was like, I'm just gonna lay here and do nothing for the next 4 days.
Yeah, we'll get back into it. But thank you guys so much for joining us for Power On Weekly. I hope you guys stay safe, and we will see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.